Hey guys, what is up? Darius Dangers here, bringing you another video. And today, I was trying to find some news to talk about and couldn't really find anything that was particularly interesting to me. So I decided to actually pose a question instead during this video using a thread that I just saw on NeoGAF, and I actually found this quite interesting. I really was thinking about this question that was posed during this thread on NeoGAF, and I actually thought that it was actually a pretty interesting and legitimate question. So I'll pose that to you, to anyone listening right now. That question is, when should Nintendo release a successor for the 3DS? Right now, with the Wii U floundering horribly, selling like absolute dog shit all over the world, when should Nintendo think about rolling out their next iteration of hardware for their handheld division, their most viable market right now? Pretty much, they're only going to be making money off of 3DS hardware and software. But, and that is a big but, the 3DS is not exactly a huge success. Last year is probably the best year we are going to see for 3DS software and possibly for 3DS sales in general. Think about last year. Fire Emblem Awakening, Pokemon X and Y. So many good games came out last year. Fucking Monster Hunter 4 for the Japanese audience that sold like what, 4 million units over in Japan. Of course, that's coming out in the U.S. In 2015, but had the fucking Legend of Zelda links. I'm not a Link to the Past, or I'm honestly not sure. Don't keep up with the Zelda property too much. You know, that new Zelda game, the sequel to A Link to the Past, that came out last year for 3DS. That was a good game, but the question posed in this thread on NeoGAF was, would E3 2014 be a good year to release a successor for the 3DS? In my opinion, this is just a teeny bit too soon. But honestly, 2015, that is the 2015. I think this is when they should announce a new successor to 3DS. I think they should try and get that 3DS, the successor to 3DS, rolled out by the end of 2015, early 2016, at the latest. Honestly, I honestly think that Nintendo, for their best interest, is going to have to get out this new handheld hardware by then in order for them to stay afloat. Especially considering how nebulous, in my opinion, this quality of life software route that Nintendo seems to be taking. I have no idea how this is going to do. I am not optimistic towards Nintendo doing that well in this market. I'm not. Quality of life products, I just don't see Nintendo being able to I don't know, set themselves apart from. It's like this is an established business sector. There's other companies competing with Nintendo's, people who put out vitamins, people who put out, fucking all sorts of different exercise and health products. Nintendo would be diving into a brand new market for them anyway. Well, not necessarily brand new for them, because Nintendo has obviously been trying to, in retrospect, looking at things like, the fucking, what was that thing called? That vitality sensor? Yeah, the vitality sensor. That could almost be seen as Nintendo trying to, like dip their toes in to the quality of life. Of course, that piece of hardware never came out, but quality of life software and possible hardware, that wasn't super surprising to me, Nintendo, going in that route. But man, when should Nintendo release their handheld successor, the next iteration of Nintendo handhelds? This is an excellent question, and this is why I decided to make this video, because I just found this absolutely fascinating. This is absolutely crucial, 100% crucial. I cannot see Nintendo's home console business being viable. I after the Wii U, where are they supposed to go? What are they going to do next time around? From the Nintendo Direct, it sounds like Nintendo more than likely is going to stay the course. They are going to release another handheld, and they're going to release another console, and they're going to try and make these two pieces of hardware, they're going to try and make them linked. I assume these things are going to have similar architecture, possibly cross-platform buying and such. If they don't do this, then I don't know. That would be insane, because even in the last Direct, this was the direction that they were suggesting they were heading. I don't see a hybrid coming just yet. A hybrid between, the console and the handheld. Even though in my mind, I see this as an ideal. I can see where Nintendo is coming from here. They don't want to cut off an entire, revenue stream. They don't want to cut off their entire console business, because foolishly or not, they think they probably can salvage this. The Wii U cannot be salvaged, people. That's impossible. But is Nintendo out for the count as far as console hardware is concerned? Not so sure yet. I think that even though I think Nintendo is irrelevant right now in the hardware sector, and I think Nintendo is going to struggle very, very badly to retain to regain their relevance with their next iteration of with their next console. I have to, at some level, admire their stubbornness and their willingness to try and put out another piece of hardware. I would love to buy a piece of Nintendo hardware that actually, met my expectations. If Nintendo could launch a new box, I don't know. It's like Nintendo launching another fucking home console to me, just after the way the Wii U is selling. It seems so foolish. It seems like a bad idea without the proper gimmick. And I'm just using gimmick here. People seem to see gimmick as a word that has a negative connotation associated with. I don't really see gimmick as something like that. A gimmick is what it is. It's something that sets you apart from your competitors. The Wii U is an example of a shitty gimmick. The Wiimote is an example of a positive gimmick, and in all honesty, easily could be seen as a innovation, because it set the trend for fucking motion control in general. But without the proper gimmick, are they just going to keep trying to capture lightning in a bottle? What are they going to do? They can't even tackle VR. It's like, that's something that I would think, Nintendo would try and do. Virtual reality. Sony's definitely going to beat them to that. Fucking Oculus Rift is definitely going to beat them to that. That's something I could see Nintendo doing. That would actually be a legitimate, innovation that gives you tangible benefits to gameplay. That already, right from the start, immerses you in the game. But I have no idea how Nintendo is going to move forward from this Wii U. They're probably going to sit on the Wii U for another year or two, probably another 2 years, and then they're going to put out their next. Ideally, this is what I think Nintendo should do. I'm just going to break it down right now. Next year, E3 2015, Nintendo should announce their next iteration of, Nintendo hardware. This is what I think they should do. Next year, they should announce the successor of the 3DS during E3 2015. They should probably push out this successor late 2015, early 2016, honestly, at the latest, because I don't think some people understand this, but outside of Japan, the 3DS, I would not call it something that is selling well. I would say that 3DS is selling okay at best outside of Japan. It has been declining just year over year now. And so far, with the numbers, these January NPD numbers, I can't recall the exact number for 3DS, but we saw huge decline. And even in Japan, there has been decline. 2013 for the 3DS, with all those big pieces of software that came out, that is going to probably be the peak for 3DS. The only thing that I could see possibly changing that would be, possible another iteration of the Monster Hunter franchise, possible Pokemon Z, or, whatever. The Pokemon could maybe, push software sales up again, by itself. But this, oh man, it's just rough. That's why I found this topic interesting, because it's just racking my brain. When should Nintendo launch their next piece of fucking handheld hardware? It's just a fact that we actually need to be thinking of this, because the Wii U is dead in the water. It's done. It's fucking done. Nintendo's just gonna have to support it for, another year or two, because they can't, follow Sega's philosophy of, just, putting out, you can't just put out another console. You can't fucking abandon your loyal fan base. You do that, you're fucking done. You're dead. That's what happened to the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast was a fucking great machine with great software. They fucking finally did everything right, but it didn't matter. The Dreamcast was dead in the water before it even launched, because of all the mistakes Sega made in the fucking past. All the mistakes Sega made managing their money, managing their resources. They already fucked up. They were done before they even launched the piece of hardware. And this is just, I see this happening to fucking Nintendo in the future. It just kind of goes back. I'm so critical of Nintendo. But at the end of the day, I want them to do well. I want these guys to do well. These people, although they don't release, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Super Mario 3D World, these games do not, inherently appeal to me. The only platformer I really play is, Sonic the Hedgehog. Otherwise, my interests lie mostly in, narrative-driven games, which is just something not being delivered by fucking Nintendo. I like narrative-driven games. I like role-playing games. Those are the type of games I really like. But Nintendo has not, offered that type of output lately. But, man, Nintendo, you gotta give them credit where credit is due. When it comes to gameplay-driven experiences, platformers, these people know what the fuck they're doing. But it doesn't matter, because this hardware hamstrings the software. You got great games like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze and Mario 3D World coming out, and it doesn't matter. This console, at this point, the Wii U, is completely toxic. Toxic. So a 3DS successor, when this piece of hardware is experiencing decline everywhere, everywhere. In Japan, I'm looking at this right now. The 3DS already, the 3DS sells very well in Japan still, but still, it's experiencing a 46.2% decline year over year. Last year, year to date, by this point, right now, 832,247 3DSs sold. This year, 447,862 units sold. In Japan, this is the Wii U's prime sector. This is where the Wii U sells better than it does anywhere else, and it's experiencing decline. I had this, someone told me, and then I thought about it after the NPD numbers, the Wii U now, outside Japan, is starting to sell the numbers that it was selling when it first launched, when people were saying that the Wii U, when the 3DS was dead. Those are the numbers we're starting to see again, outside of Japan. I have to always stress outside of Japan, because in Japan, even 46.2% down year over year, that's not too shabby, really. 447,862 units. But, God, when will they reveal their next successor for the 3DS? Ah, man, that's such a good question. Which is why I, wanted to do this video in the first place. In the first place. Because it is a question that just kind of instantly in my head, I found it interesting. Honestly, yeah, like I said earlier, reveal it 2015, release it late 2015, early 2016 at the latest. I don't think Nintendo can afford to sit on top of the fucking 3DS. 3DS is not the DS. It's not selling gangbusters. At this point, I don't think it's going to fucking even come close to the... well, it might come close, but it's definitely not going to exceed the GBA. That would surprise me greatly if it exceeded the GBA. But, yeah, guys, what are your thoughts? Do you think the 3DS... When do you think the 3DS should have a successor? When do you think it should be announced? When do you think it should be released? Come on. Comment, like, favorite, subscribe if you want to. Let's try and have a discussion here. Those are my thoughts. Darius Danger signing out. Have a good day, guys.